Hi, I'm Ryan Hausnecht, and I'm talking about how to bake a cake. So the first step in baking a cake is finding a recipe. So you want to find a recipe that you know you have all the ingredients for and that you know that's in your skill level. So halfway through you're not confused by anything, and you also want to make sure you read through your recipes a few times so that you kind of know what you're doing beforehand and that you don't have to keep going either to the book or through your phone when your hands are all dirty and cakey and that you already know what's kind of happening. Step 2, gather ingredients and start cooking. So when you're making a cake batter, it's really important to have your butter softened or melted for your recipe. There's a big difference. And if it's too melted, you're gonna have a really dense, kind of hard cake, which isn't gonna be pretty good. And you wanna make sure that you cream your butter so it's like light and fluffy, so it makes your cake really airy and good. And you also wanna make sure that you have all the ingredients beforehand, like I said, that so you don't have to go while you're cooking and run to the store and get it, because I've had to do that a few times. Step 3 is lining and baking. So you want to make sure that you preheat your oven beforehand, and then you also want to make sure that your cake pans are lined with parchment paper, and then you put butter around it, and then you put flour in it, and then you dump out all the excess flour so that you really can ensure that your cake won't stick in your pan. It's the worst when you put in all that work and your cake just sticks in the pan and crumbles, and it's really gross. Okay, the next step, step 4, is you have to take out the cakes and cool. So you want to put a toothpick into the cake, and when it comes out clean, that means that it's fully baked, and you definitely don't want to over bake them because then they're going to be crunchy and burnt and gross. And then while they're still in the pan, you want to put them into the freezer. When you do this, it just makes sure that they just always taste better when you do that. I don't know why, but that's just what you're supposed to do. Step 5, so you have to cut and level your cakes, especially when you're making decorative cakes like I like to do. You have to ensure that your cakes are always level and flat, so your cake's not like leaning. So you have to get this tool. It's kind of like a wire, and it like cuts straight through the cake. But you can also use a serrated like kitchen bread knife that also is pretty good, and a ruler to like mark exactly where you want your cakes. You also want to make sure you cut off the dome off the top of the cake so that's straight coming off, so that your cakes will always be flat and level and look really clean and crisp and good. Step 6, so you want to do a crumb coat for when you do fondant. So you have to fill the inside of all your cakes with the frosting in between so the layers stick together. It also tastes extra good because there's more icing. And then you have to do a really thin layer of frosting, whatever frosting you use, and then stick it in the fridge so it cools and hardens, and then take it back out again and then refrost it. So the importance of the first coat is that it gets no crumbs on the outside, so your frosting looks really clean and there's no like little crumbs sticking out, and it looks like really professional, and it looks just a lot better. Step 7 is roll out and place fondant. So when you're working with fondant, you want to make sure you have a ton of powdered sugar and you have vegetable shortening. If not, it's gonna be a hot mess and everything's gonna be sticking. So you wanna kind of microwave your fondant for like 45 seconds so it's pliable, workable, and then you want to start rolling it out. But before you roll it out, you have to put down vegetable shortening and then sprinkle powdered sugar on top so it definitely does not stick at all. And then you can roll it out, and you could just place it on your cake, and when it's on your cake, you have to make sure that it fits the whole thing, and then smooth it out first, and then cut the excess at the bottom. Step 8 is decorate. I put this one down because it's my dad's birthday this weekend, and he loves Germany and Oktoberfest, so we made him a beer cake, and yeah, that was just an inspiration. So just decorate whatever you're decorating for. Make sure that it's, true to you. It looks good, it makes you happy. And step 9 is enjoy. It's best to enjoy with your friends and family. And yeah, that's how you make a cake. This is my boyfriend Jared, and he's my audience member, and his 2 questions are:
what's your favorite flavor of cake, and why do you like baking cake so much?
Okay, so the answers to that are: my favorite type of cake is chocolate cake with chocolate icing. Can't go wrong, it's so good. And why I like to make cake so much, I like it because it's something that you can just like completely focus on, and like you're just so immersed in it, and it's so like you have to really pay attention to like everything that's happening, and it's really detail oriented, and I really like it.